The T.D. Jakes and P. Diddy Scandal Part 2.
I'm not a lawyer, but I just read all 35 pages of the lawsuit filed by Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie, versus Sean Combs, aka Diddy. And child, let me give you the recap. Let me start off by saying the front page of this lawsuit has a trigger warning on it. So listen, let me say to you, this video could be triggering. You've been warned. Okay, so the beginning of the lawsuit just gives some background. It talks about how the two met in late 2005, early 2006. Cassie was 19 and Diddy was 37. Shortly after, Cassie was signed to Bad Boy. And at the time, Cassie was actually in a relationship with someone else and Diddy was in a relationship with Kim Porter. But then on Cassie's 21st birthday, Diddy allegedly pulled her into the bathroom and forcibly kissed her. Cassie cried, and that was their very first physical encounter. Over time, Diddy continued to pursue her, according to this lawsuit. And then in September of 2007, Diddy allegedly picked Cassie up from her apartment and gave her a pill. The suit says that Cassie didn't know what the pill was, but she took it at his request. She later learned that that pill was ecstasy, allegedly. Then there's a story told from 2007 when Diddy allegedly paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party Cassie was hosting, but not really because it was fake. And it was done to give her a reason to go to Miami and get away from her boyfriend. During that trip, it's alleged that they did a ton of drugs, and that is when they had their very first encounter. By 2008, Diddy had allegedly introduced Cassie to opiates and would often have pills and other drugs out in the open like candy. Quote, upon information and belief, Mr. Combs has been addicted to prescription painkillers and took ecstasy frequently. The suit also alleges that Cassie's medical records were being sent directly to Diddy's email address. For instance, the suit says when Cassie was experiencing some memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and or head injuries caused by Diddy's alleged beatings, her MRI results were provided directly to Diddy. Somebody call HIPAA. By this point in the relationship, according to the doc, the dynamic between the two had been established and continued to be reinforced. There's the 20-year age gap between the two, Diddy's high-profile position as a music mogul in the industry, and then he's the CEO of the label that Cassie is signed to. He's also, according to this document, aggressive and demanding, requiring blind loyalty from anybody he works with, and he constantly flaunted large amounts of cash, which was quite intimidating for Cassie. He also paid for her apartments, her cars, her clothes, and vacations. And all of this combined contributed to Cassie's feeling like her entire life was under the complete control of Diddy. And then the lawsuit goes into violence and abuse. The suit tells multiple stories of violence in the relationship. From a story of Suge Knight being spotted at a LA restaurant and Diddy allegedly getting dressed, retrieving multiple weapons and running out of his house to go to that restaurant, to Diddy allegedly demanding that Cassie hold his weapons in her purse, knowing that she was scared, all the way to Diddy allegedly violently beating Cassie and then exercising his money, power, and influence to hide the bruises and at times hide her until she was healed. There are a few stories told in this lawsuit that allege Cassie was kicked or stomped, and even with staff or security witnessing the violence, no one would say anything or challenge Diddy. The lawsuit then goes into alleged trafficking. It claims that a few years into their relationship, there was an arrangement referred to as freak off or FO, in which male sex workers were hired for Cassie to engage in acts with, and Diddy would watch. These FOs would take place at hotels all around the country, which is where the trafficking part comes in, and heavy amounts of drugs and other things were always supplied. Diddy would allegedly give instructions during these FOs and record them. And even when Cassie would delete the footage, Diddy would tell her he could always recover the footage regardless if she deleted them. At one point, the lawsuit says that Diddy allegedly made Cassie watch one of the FOs that she thought she deleted while they were on a flight. And even during the FOs, according to the suit, Cassie would still be physically beat in front of the guests and security. A hotel allegedly caught one of the violent incidents on camera, but according to the suit, Diddy paid $50,000 for the damages done to the hotel and for the footage. There's a story in these docs that allege that on Cassie's 29th birthday, Diddy held one of Cassie's friends over the balcony of a hotel like a child. In 2011, Cassie developed a relationship with Kid Cudi while things between her and Diddy were not so great. And the suit claims that Diddy allegedly still called Cassie over for an FO. And while she was over, he went through her phone and found some exchanges between her and Kid Cudi. He allegedly placed a manual corkscrew between his fingers and then lunged at her. Cassie leaves. She stays with Kid Cudi. She comes back. She's met with more violence. She eventually stays with her mom. They start working things out. And then in February of 2012, during Paris Fashion Week, Diddy allegedly told Cassie he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car. And he wanted Kid Cudi and his friends home when it happened, according to this doc and Kid Cudi. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. In September of 2018, Diddy and Cassie allegedly met up for what Cassie thought was going to be a breakup dinner of sorts. Following the dinner, the two went back to Cassie's apartment, which was paid for by Diddy. And while there, Cassie claims that Diddy her while she told him to stop and tried to push him away. The suit says that the birth of Cassie's children has given her a new lease on life and given her purpose in her life, but that she has struggled with addiction to drugs and alcohol that were all established and fueled by Diddy. She has had, quote, difficulty sleeping, eating, and her relationship with her family has suffered. She's even had thoughts of unaliving herself. She says that she is rebuilding her life and her career, and she is now ready to, quote, confront her abuser and hold him and those who enabled his abuse accountable for their actions. So she's suing for sex trafficking, human trafficking, sexual battery, sexual assault, sexual harassment, hostile work environment, and more. Diddy, through his attorneys, denied all of the allegations and says he is being extorted. Quote, for the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about the relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. Okay. Y'all weigh in the comments.
In a recent interview, Gina, the girlfriend of Diddy, has made shocking allegations against him.
Do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Gina courageously came forward to share her experiences, claiming that she endured a tumultuous relationship marked by abusive behavior. She recounted distressing incidents of physical violence, recounting one instance where Diddy allegedly mushed her face forcefully, causing her nose to bleed. Gina further disclosed that amidst such moments, in an even more troubling revelation, Gina asserted that she was coerced by Diddy into undergoing 2 abortions, with him reportedly providing her with $50,000 on each occasion. These grave allegations emerged in the wake of Cassie's announcement of her pregnancy with her new partner. As of now, Diddy has yet to address these accusations publicly, leaving a cloud of uncertainty and prompting discussions on the responsibilities of public figures in addressing such serious matters.
About Diddy throwing gay parties have resurfaced once again. It seems every time you search P. Diddy on YouTube, there seems to be even more rumors involving him and typically a younger hip-hop artist. Are you noticing some similarities to other Hollywood scandals breaking the news waves the recent years? Ever since Diddy appeared on that infamous Drink Champs episode with Fabulous, the rumors have been swirling around again that Diddy hosts weird sex parties and tried to make a move on Fabulous to get him to attend. Well, it turns out that Fabulous ended up partying with Diddy after all. However, he didn't like what he saw there and revealed he had to act like he was going to the bathroom and then ran away.
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying?
What do y'all think?
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim's dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Mm-hmm. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is all gone.
Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it.
18 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Everything's good. Selling out arenas and everything. Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
Number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
Yes. Okay.
5555.
Okay. 55. You heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm here to because you've been a big supporter of mine, all jokes aside. This right here is my young brother right here. He's been a big supporter of mine. My album's coming out, and we got the crew going around now. You in New York City, and we got the Dirty Money crew. We wanted to make you an official member of the Dirty Money crew.
Are you
all right?
serious?
There you go.
That is
Justin Bieber. Is it your swag?
This right here looks like a picture of a man who had to settle a lawsuit within 24 hours before his ex exposed him of everything in court. I call this Defeated Diddy, and it's about damn time. And is that his chief of staff showing him all of the TikToks of people coming out and exposing him? From the Kim Porter theories to the man that exposed the fact that Diddy hung Wale right outside of a balcony. You can't tell me that Diddy hasn't seen all these videos and is shaking in his weird sneakers. I mean, this outfit. Definitely a man who was on the verge of being exposed and has been being exposed by the likes of Aubrey O'Day and other people in the industry for a very long time. I just want to know if anyone else felt like this relationship kind of reminded them of this relationship, like the level of control and things going on behind the scenes that people just didn't know about for a really long time. The lawsuit highlighted these freak-offs, which they called FOs, where Diddy was taping Cassie doing things with other men that he would hire. Cassie would delete the footage off his phone, and he would threaten her and say that basically he can get all the footage back. And so she just lived in fear of all of this stuff being exposed all the time. Meanwhile, I know it's a matter of time before we get our Exposing Diddy documentary that I know is bound to happen sooner or later.
P. Diddy and Rachel Chandler. And you had people asking why I kept posting Mr. Sean Combs. And these are the ones who claim to know all about Jeffrey Epstein. You do not have a better plan than what's unfolding in front of you. So allow this to play out as designed without the whining and complaining. Now do you see why others are being exposed in conjunction with P. Diddy like T.D. Jakes? Everything is connected. I need you to understand this.
The next part of the prophecy is called T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes is a homosexual and a pedophile. He has defiled minors. He has used boys willingly and against their will. He is brotherhood, fallen brotherhood, secret brotherhood. He will be exposed. And the filth will hit the newspapers in every country where his name has ever been famous, where his touch has ever been felt. This is a worldwide scandal. To the extent that he defiled, meaning to the extent that he abused and defiled, especially the young ones, let him be defamed. That means let the name that he has left behind in the earth be utterly destroyed. This is the judgment of the watcher speaking in heaven against this man's name and legacy. He will not have any legacy left. God says before this man dies, he will not have any legacy left. He will die fighting for the last shreds of his dignity and legacy. He will die fighting. Listen, those of you who sit on the fence. He will die fighting not for the mercy of God to be restored to him. What a terrible thing it is to lose the love, the favor, and the mercy of God. He will not die fighting for mercy to come back to him. God says he will die fighting for his name that he values above God. That is the Lord's assessment of him. He will battle in court. He will battle the press. He will battle his accusers. He will battle unsuccessfully to suppress evidence in a court of law. He will fight and say that certain tapes, certain text messages should not be admitted into evidence. He will use money, power, clout, and influence, but to no avail, says the Lord. He will not protect his ministry and empire. God says that the potter's house will fall. The potter's house and everybody in it will fall. And every single piece of it, the Lord has been saying, will come out and be admitted into evidence. Prepare the way of the Lord, for whatever has been done in darkness must come out, says the Most High of all flesh. I have given seats to men. I have given callings. I have given gifts. I have given them mentorship power. I have put my people under their care. Instead, they went to the dark side and they drank from the devil's cup. Yet I said, you cannot drink the cup of God and of devils. This is 1 Corinthians 10, 21 and 22. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and of the table of demons. Would we provoke the Lord to jealousy?
I will advocate for you. Because, see, I know something that a lot of people don't know. I know that you and Kim Porter had a sit down right before she left us. I know Kim had some very good advice to give you, and I believe that this is why things are happening as they happen. Kim was smart, wasn't she, Cassie? Kept you alive and kept you safe.
Granny always said what's done in the dark gonna come to light. These new allegations is so bad, it's gonna be hard for me to even tell them to y'all with the wording that I gotta use, and I don't like it. Via tough news, Cassie had to give up all the tapes and recordings and burner phones to the feds, and it's got all type of evidence on there involving TD Jakes. And listen to this, y'all. They say this stuff she just gave up is about to be all type of politicians, entertainers, and all kind of stuff, kind of people arrested. Now they said Cassie was reluctant to give up this evidence because it showed her getting PP, on or whatever. And if you remember, Young Miami was saying that Diddy had a thing with that. I ain't saying it. This is just what Tough News is alleging, but this is crazy. I got more. Now, also want to hit the fan is multiple men have collaborated, basically put stories together saying that TD Jakes allegedly been at them parties with Diddy, getting it in with all of them. They saying TD Jakes is a power bottom. A power what? One man in particular said that TD Jakes made him perform top without his consent, and he was not appropriate for that, age-wise. And him and his family was a member of the Potter's House and ended up leaving the church. They saying
The only reason this didn't come out back in the day is the guy's parents from the church took hush money. And so now, but the guy is a grown man now. He not even dealing with his parents behind all this stuff. And they saying he in the middle of going full-fledged at TD Jakes. And TD Jakes is lawyering up. Y'all, this thing is getting out of control.
How did we get here? It's being alleged that P. Diddy's homes were raided by the FBI. Once the FBI get involved, it sort of takes a life of its own. And you really don't know what they're looking for because they're really sneaky. They get very inquisitive because they're looking for something big. So they don't move on stuff unless they already know what they're looking for. Somebody somewhere done committed a crime, and as a result, it's pulling everybody under investigation. This is why Jakes is in this, because of who he chose to be friends with. If he had cut off P. Diddy and separated himself from him like he did Carlton Pearson, he wouldn't even be in this. But because he did not, now any and everything, and probably some stuff that ain't even true, is going to be put on his name.